Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today, for Talk About It Tuesday, we're having a fireside chat, and we're going to talk about a pretty serious subject. Finally coming to realize that I have completely ruined my car. Let's get into it.
This is My Car's Shop.
We're in the middle of a midwinter storm again. We're actually in the middle of a thunder snow, and pretty much stranded for the day. Can't go anywhere. Can't work in the shop really. The weather's really bad. And so I thought it was a great place to just have this discussion about how I have completely ruined my car. I'm convinced of that. I've been online enough. I've read enough discussion forums, and I've seen enough of what the keyboard warriors have to say to recognize that I've ruined it. It's junk. And I think I'm going to take stitches and just take it to the junkyard, and I'm going to scrap it. Do you believe that? You're gullible. But I recently ran across a discussion forum about, it was a Challenger, I believe, and somebody had made a custom dash, and they had used a lot of what one genre particularly of custom car makers, like if you've seen West Coast Customs, for example, they use a lot of wood and polyboard and other stuff to make custom interiors for cars and vans and trucks and buses and motorhomes and you name it. And this particular customizer had done some of this work to a Challenger, and the comments were just ridiculous. Oh, the car's, it's totally ruined. It's junk. It's ruined. Oh, come on. Get a life. It's not ruined. I mean, even with fabrication, as you've heard me say in the Stitches series, even with everything I'm doing, if somebody purchased that car down the road and didn't like the work that was done, it can all be cut out and replaced with the good stuff, whatever the heck that is. Where do we get this idea that we've ruined a car because somebody does work that's not up to our particular self-imposed standards? We need a reality check here. That's ridiculous. First of all, these are collector cars. They have no true bearing and value in the real world of life. Yes, they provide income for some people who have jobs and things associated with it, but let's be realistic. If we ended up in a zombie apocalypse, none of this matters, right? If the economy falls apart and we end up in a Great Depression, none of this stuff matters. It's a hobby. And yes, like I said, for some people, it is a profession, but we got to get real. That profession is going to go away when we're all out there trying to find some way to eke out a living. We're probably not going to be restoring and selling classic cars at that point, are we? I think people have lost their minds, and they have really lost their perspective on all of this. And don't get me wrong, I am one of the hugest proponents of the classic car industry. I have been all my life, and I certainly have, if everything comes caving in, as some people are saying, and we're going to end up in the worst depression that has ever existed, and we're going to have all of these shortages, my hobby has definitely equipped me with some marketable skills that I can use for bartering to try to eke out a living in some way, shape, or form by doing some welding projects for people, or maybe some mechanical repair on somebody's tractor or whatever it is. I do have marketable skills in that world for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be restoring classic cars at that point. Am I? I don't like the idea of in any way, shape, or form getting political on the channel, and this isn't political, but I just think we need a reality check on all of this stuff. It's out of control. Talk about, first world problems here. Maybe it's even first world privilege, but I really don't think that people starving in Africa are worried that somebody didn't put the correct AMD floor pan in a 70 Challenger. I just don't think it's that important in the big scope of life. And I think many people have lost their minds, and they've lost their perspective on it. It's just a car. It's metal. If something is put in, it can be cut out. There's very little. There are a few things that possibly could ruin a car beyond repair, but not many in today's day and age, especially with all the resources that we have available to us, with this huge knowledge base that we have here on the internet, particularly on YouTube. We have a massive hive mind of problem solvers. And of course, we have a massive hive mind of perfectionistic. I'm trying to not use bad words on my channel, but I have some choice words for people that are like that, trust me. And there's room for everybody in this hobby. absolutely room for everybody. And I have no problem with a person having a certain set of standards that they want their work done to, that they want to do their work to. I have a real problem when they start shoving that down my throat or your throat because you're doing things differently than what they think is the right way. Chances are you're not going to do one of those things that's going to completely ruin the car. I mean, my buddy John over at the Life at Speed channel, if you haven't checked him out, do that. He's got the full gamut. He has a Ferrari, he has a Viper, he has a Challenger, and he's got a burnt out hulk of a Cuda that he's going to be turning into a tribute car to one of the TV shows that I can't think of right now. I apologize. And it's burnt to the ground, literally, and he's going to rebuild that car, and he has the skills, so don't let the Ferrari and the Viper fool you. He's got the hands-on skills to be able to do it, and I'm excited for him to do that car. But even that car is not beyond repair. So it would have to be pretty severe in today's day and age to not be able to repair a vehicle or to say that it's ruined. Oh, give me a break. What it's ruined for you means that you don't like the way it was done. So why don't we say what we really mean instead of making all of these judgments against other people who aren't doing things the way that we do them? Now, I know here on my channel, I'm preaching to the choir. Totally. I get that. You guys are here because of the DIY. You're here because of the fabrication. You're here because I don't do things according to the rules most of the time. That's what we're all here for. We're here to learn something different. We're here to learn skills that we can apply to the rest of our lives that have far-reaching implications into any realm of the world, no matter what direction the world goes, right? I mean, face it, even in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, if we're living in a Mad Max world, we're going to need people that are creative to be able to build those cars like we're in the Mad Max movie. Yeah, I'm a little passionate about this subject. I don't really care what people think about me or what I do, but I'm also sometimes feeling like I'm here as a voice of one of few in the wilderness crying out saying, hey, get a grip, guys. Get a grip, gals. You know, again, not directed to you guys, but I want to encourage you. Don't let the naysayers keep you from trying things that maybe aren't the norm. I know in so many hobbies that I'm involved in, whether it's the car hobby, in the music industry, not just as a hobby, but as a professional musician. I've been a model railroader all my life in one fashion or another. And there are always the elitists trying to dictate how things should be done. Now, those of you that are familiar with my stage persona in the band will know that I have been dubbed Rebel since way back in the 80s. There's a reason for that, because you tell me how something should be and I'll figure out a way to do it just to prove you wrong. Now, I'm not so much that way anymore. I'm my own person, and reacting to what somebody else has done just to prove them wrong is kind of letting them have control. But the truth is, you know, it's your car, it's your hobby. Enjoy it the way that you want. If you want to go out and spend the money and do all of that, you know, I'm not standing in judgment. I'll encourage you and help you, and I will give you pointers on what needs to be done. If you want to fabricate, I'll help you with that in any way that I can. We do all of that different things, even though we tend to be a fabrication channel. We do install new parts. We do, you know, buy sheet metal and put it on cars. I'm not against any of that. We're just here because this is what I do. And I want to encourage you guys, because again, I know I'm preaching to the choir here on this channel. As Frank Sinatra said, right? You should be able to look back on your life and on your projects and say,
I did it my way.
all right, that's going to do it. We'll catch you on the next one.
Rock!